Hello everyone, Magnus here. Today is the special episode where I want to actually give feedback to everyone who watches and pretty much everyone who's left me feedback within not only the past week, but the past couple of weeks, because it seems like my last video didn't exactly get a lot of responses. So I figured what better way than to review all the responses that I've gotten in my recent videos and try to give back to you guys and give you some responses right here on my show so that you can actually get a quick opinion of what I've got to say. Print out the list and I'm going to go through it with you. All right, here we go. Now, first comment I'm going to discuss is this comment from Silver Hawk Pictures in the Why I Canceled My GH5 pre-order. He says, I can understand where you're coming from in this video. At first, I was hesitant and I'm not in complete agreement, but I understand where you're coming from. Thank you. That's all I wanted, just basically someone to watch the video and understand what I'm trying to communicate in the video. Whether you agree or disagree, that's definitely your opinion, but I just wanted you to watch and to see what I had to say. From Korea Media, and he says, you talking about Samsung? Then I don't trust you. Now, I've mentioned in my previous videos before that I actually do currently work for Samsung, but my opinions on it are solely based on my experience with the camera, and I want to be as unbiased as possible. But of course, it's up to you on whether you take whatever I have to say and run with it or not. So thanks for your comment. Well said, we need to see real results. Led by Hugo Rojas. You guys know what I'm trying to say. We need to see real results. We need to see how the camera works. And I've got a few comments that I want to hit on here that point to couple of the things that I was trying to say. I got a comment from Glue Factory BJJ. Seriously, what does this have to do with the GH5? Or was that intentionally intended to be clickbait? Well, to be quite honest, no. It was intended to entertain, and of course, for all of those who watched my GH5 video, I wanted you to actually click on this and see what I had to say about autofocus. It was really important to me to get at everyone who wasn't in approval of me wanting autofocus in the GH5. So by putting this and saying, hey, I got something else to say, I wanted to get those that watched my video a week before to follow up with me. But it's all up to you on what you think. You don't have to click on it, and you can. It's up to you. Cool Kid 329, and he said, this video could have easily been 3 minutes, but you talk slow ASF. I guess I do. I can't help it. I was actually trying to prove my point and reading and trying to make sure that I pronounced every word, and that's why I slowed it down a little bit, because when I rush, I tend to stutter over my words, and then it doesn't come out as quite effective as I'd like. So, reading slow and steady gets the point across. Dislike this one too. What a lot of words for something so simple. You got it backwards. First, you think, consider, and then pre-order or not. You just pre-ordered and then started to think, consumerism? I think that's the word. Good luck on your choice though. To be honest, he's talking about the fact that I mentioned in my GH5, returning that order, that's when the representative from Panasonic mentioned that it's somewhat of a consumer designed camera, and it made me rethink my order. It basically reminded me on the fact that when Panasonic or any other manufacturer is building their products, I have to keep in mind what the potential audience is that they have in mind to release these products, because sometimes they'll hold back features or abilities of the camera just because they don't believe that the audience that the camera is intended for will enjoy the camera or be able to use slightly more advanced features, such as Vlog on a Panasonic, which I believe the GH5 will have, but maybe other features that you might get on a professional or prosumer camera that you wouldn't get on a what I called consumer camera. From Zeely, and he stated, you're comparing NX1 versus GH4, not GH5, old models. GH5 is the latest model that will be released in March 2017, which has 1080p, 180 frames per second slow motion. Watch GH5 in depth and take a look. So then he sent me a link. I clicked on the link just so that you know, and so I could see what he's talking about. And the link was a link to a video released by Panasonic, which I tend to consider a marketing video. Hey, let's talk about all the oohs and ahs of the camera. Not saying that they're lying, but I want to know the pros and the cons. If you just give me all the good stuff, I'll never understand everything about the camera until I buy it, and then I have to face the difficulties that one might face when using a new product. I want to know the whole story. And this is from Get the F from Round Me. Said, how about you all watch these? Then he put a link to a video and start shutting the hell up. Well, I shut up and I clicked on the video. I wanted to see what he had. Now, the video that he linked is actually a list of different videos that are linked specifically to a YouTuber's videos interviewing a representative from what seemed like the engineering department in the US division from Panasonic. That was my impression that I got. And he mentioned a couple of interesting things on this video of what the GH5 can and can't do, and was able to answer some questions that I might have as well. So the video link was actually pretty useful. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, it only had me asking more questions. And that is why I want a full review. Just to give you an example of a couple of things mentioned in this video. For the most part, when it comes to the Panasonic's encoding, they're using H.264, but most of the settings will be an IPB compression. They will have an all-I compression or an intra-frame compression, specifically at 400 megabits per second. I'll hit you up here with what he said. And based off of that, what he said, that's what I'm talking about. I'd like to have that a little bit expanded. That's what I'd like. Is it necessary? I don't know. I don't know how it would deal with color correcting in post under that compressed format. I don't know. I need a review to get that answer. Then a particular subject that actually hit me about that video is he spoke about not using H.265 and sticking with an H.264 codec compression. That answer kind of got on my nerves because you're sticking with an older codec format because most people can handle it. You're sticking with an old codec format because you said in the video that you need to transcode in order to get it to work. I don't know about you, but for at least the past year or so, I've been able to work without transcoding in Adobe Premiere using my GTX 970 video card as well as my i7 processor, which is about 3 years old at this point. And I have no issues. In fact, off of my laptop with the Adobe update for H.265, I can still pretty much work with it with minimal lag. There is you have some stuttering, but not too bad. And I haven't needed to transcode H.265 in a long time. I do agree with the fact that you need a more advanced system to be able to work with it. But if you're actually buying this camera because you intend to work with this camera on high-end shoots, and you can afford a camera at $2,000 without a lens, you're going to tell me that you're not going to have the equipment to work with the video footage that you get? I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. They designed that codec specifically to cater to those that really don't know how to use those video files. They'll just dump it in their computer, play it, and say, yay, I got a video file. And I don't believe that most consumers are recording in 4K. Could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, it is what it is. But to me, a person that just wants to record their birthday party, they're going to record it at 1080p or whatever the camera has on default, and then just say, hey, look, I got a video file, let me upload it to YouTube. But those of us that care about recording and recording at high quality or color grading later, we care about everything. And for the fact that you want H.264, it's easier to work with. I won't deny that. But the compression rate and the quality that you get off of the new HEVC codec or H.265 to me is unbeatable. I've used it on the NX1 for the past couple of years, And quite honestly, I am so thankful that I can work with a codec that doesn't need that fast of a card to be able to record 4K footage at a high quality. For me, that's incredible. With a 256 gigabyte card, I can record a lot of footage off of my NX1. And that would have been nice to have on a GH5. And that, quite honestly, is one of my frustrations. So, but then he went on to say, well, basically, if we start having issues with consumers calling in the help desk and a lot of issues with not knowing how to work with or understand the H.265 file format, then that's something that we don't particularly want to handle or can deal with. Now, that answer I thought was pretty honest. To me, that's respectable, saying, look, we don't have time nor want to invest in dealing with customer support for all of those that are going to call in and not know how to use this codec. Again, if you're buying this camera and you don't know about codecs or anything else, then you're either buying it for photos, or if you're buying it for video, then you should at least know what you're doing. That's in my opinion. But it's just an opinion. It's not written in stone, so it is what it is. If you got any more comments, you could of course leave them here, and I'll update and address them next week. And I want to actually experiment this time. Instead of having something pre-recorded, I want to be able to interact with you guys a lot more. So what I am going to do is that next Thursday, that's right, next Thursday, March 2nd at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do a live broadcast. And on that live broadcast, I'm going to do the same thing that I'm doing today, reading over comments and then responding. But anyone who's there live, I'll respond to you guys as well. And if nobody signs on and I'm there by myself, I'm just going to read comments live and then post that video up right away with minimal to no delay. I basically consider this a conversation and not just me talking to you guys. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to watching these videos, and I'm going to keep making them for you. I'm going to film my next episode and hit you guys right up. And of course, as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out.